For this recipe, you will need 1 cup of white sugar, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1½ cups of water, 2 lemons, 2 tablespoons of butter, 4 eggs, graham crackers, 6 tablespoons of white sugar, and 6 tablespoons of butter. Set the oven to 350 degrees. In a medium saucepan, whisk together 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. In 1½ cups of water, the juice from 2 lemons and the lemon zest. Cook on medium heat in a medium-sized saucepan. So now in a gallon-sized bag, put about 10 full-size sheets of graham cracker crust. Now take a rolling pin and crush up the graham crackers like this. And basically just start rolling until the texture becomes like a sandy, grainy type of consistency. When the mixture reaches a boil, put in 2 tablespoons of butter. Pour 1/2 cup of the hot sugar mixture into a bowl of 4 beaten egg yolks and whisk it. Pour this mixture of the egg yolks and sugar back into the medium saucepan. This in a bowl of melted butter, which is like about 5 tablespoons of melted butter. Mix it together slowly. And then once it's made into sort of like a doughy kind of consistency, you can just put the mixture into an empty kind of pie bowl and flatten the mixture. If the consistency looks a little dry, you can add a little bit more of the butter. The flattening process can take a while, but when you go towards the edges of the plate, start pushing up against the sides. This can take a little patience because sometimes it can break apart, but just slowly press it back together. When you get to the edges, you can also use the edge of a measuring cup to press against the sides. When the mixture is thick, pour it into the pie crust.
So with the 4 other egg whites that you saved from earlier, now we're going to use this to make the meringue. So before you start mixing, if possible, although the step isn't necessary, if you have any cream of tartar, this is basically going to add an acid to the mixture to make the meringue sit more stiffly on the pie. So you only need a very little amount. You only need like 1/8 of a teaspoon for every egg that you have. So in the end, you'll only need, which is like, I'm just eyeballing it here. It's like very, very little amount, like maybe this much. And then you're gonna start blending the egg whites with a manual mixing machine, just because it takes a really long time manually. And gradually, as you start blending the 4 egg whites, add 6 tablespoons of white sugar. This is how you start gradually adding the sugar. So this is about a tablespoon. So that's 1. So we're gonna add 5 more of these as we're mixing. So I've stopped blending now because we can see here once I've pulled the thing off, there's a stiff peak standing on its own. So now it's time to put it on top of the pie. Now we're ready to bake for about 10 to 12 minutes at 350 degrees.
The top is becoming brownish, but it's not quite done. As you can see, it's a nice golden color. Before we serve it, you should probably let it cool down for a little bit so that the meringue or the lemon in the middle isn't all liquid. So you can either leave it out on your stove or something or put it in the fridge to cool it down. So we refrigerated it for around 15 minutes to make sure that all the lemon in the middle was solid. And now we're gonna cut the pie.
beautiful piece of pie.